Well, what could be better than to have a lap full of Cavaliers? Well, Bella didn't last too long, but Bootsy and Apple are still here. Nice cup of espresso. And I have a story to tell you. Now, this is not a story about dogs, although we have to have the dogs here because they are just a whole part of this YouTube channel. But this is a story that I think is very appropriate at this time of the year. As I'm recording this, we are just a few days away from Easter. We are a couple of weeks away from Passover. We just passed the Hindu festival of Holi. And a week or so ago, we had the vernal equinox. Spring is here. And this is a time when we usually try to celebrate new life and just everything is waking up in the world. And a lot of times we associate that with hope for the future. Oh, Bella, did you want to come up? You can come up on my lap anytime, Bella. I mean, you're just going to have to squeeze in here. I'm sorry. Come on. There we go. Okay. You know, we're so accustomed to waking up to stories about war and political nastiness and all kinds of unpleasant things that sometimes people find it hard to keep all the good things in mind. But this is a story about the fact that you can find goodness and good people all the time, and sometimes in unexpected places. Happened just a couple of days ago. There is a town just about 15 minutes up the road from where I live called Northport. Very picturesque little village. They have a very beautiful harbor with a park overlooking the water, nice shops, good restaurants, just a nice little atmosphere. And they have a theater. This theater is more than just community theater. It is a venue for productions that come from shows that have been on Broadway. They have professional actors, and they do a very nice job. We went to see Jersey Boys. I mean, how could you not like the music in Jersey Boys? Come on. We've seen it before, but it was just fun. And our daughter and granddaughter met us. We had a little dinner with them first, then we went to see the show. Afterwards, they got into their car, took off. I had used the valet parking at the theater, and so I'm waiting for my car. And it seemed to be taking a little bit longer than I would have expected, and one of the valet workers came up. Goodbye, Bella. And one of the valet attendants yelled out, "Who's waiting for a Prius?" Well, that was me. I was waiting for my Prius. And I said, "Yeah, what's up?" And he said, the car just died. They can't drive it down here. I said, "What are you talking about?" And it turns out, they parked the cars up the street several hundred yards away, so I couldn't see where the car was. But he drove me up there. And I looked in the car, and sure enough, there was this signal on the dashboard that said something about a low battery. And when I tried to put it in gear to take it away, it just all went dark and was completely dead. It was parked in a driveway coming out of the parking lot that they were using, semi-blocking that driveway, and almost poking out into the main street of the town. And I was a little bit worried about it. It was late on a Tuesday night, and I really didn't want to leave the car, but I really did not know what to do. My wife called our daughter and granddaughter. It turns out our granddaughter hadn't even gotten home yet, so she turned around and came back to see what she could do. Meanwhile, I was asking the valet attendants if they had any means of jump-starting the car so I could at least get it out of the way and maybe get it home. That would be nice. Well, when my granddaughter got there, turns out she had jumper cables. So she pulled her car up in front of mine, and she was sticking out into the main street of the town. And it's been many years since I've actually jump-started a car. I mean, back when I was like 20 years old. Good girl, Bella. Back when I was like 20 years old, all I could afford were junky old cars that had to be jump-started on a regular basis, so I was pretty good at it. But it's been a while, and, you know, the Prius has two batteries. It has the standard 12-volt battery, and then it has the big hybrid battery. And I wasn't quite positive about how to do the whole thing. And we were puzzling over the wires and all that, and this car going by on Main Street came to a stop, window rolled down, and the driver yelled out, "Do you need help?" And all I said was, "Well, if you know much about jump-starting a car, that would be very helpful." Next thing I know, the car pulled up in the driveway next to us, and these three young men looked like maybe high school seniors, possibly college, but probably high school seniors. I think they were out because their spring vacation, I imagine, started the next day, and they were, of course, celebrating that. Well, I was absolutely amazed. You know, I taught teenagers math for a long time, 44 years in the classroom, and I met some really wonderful, wonderful kids who became wonderful adults, still in touch with a lot of them. But you don't generally expect a random stranger who is a teenager when you're 4 times their age to really be friendly and helpful. Well, these three guys were just absolutely wonderful. They were polite, they were helpful, they were energetic, they were patient, and they just got right to work trying to figure out what to do, and then making the connections, and okay, put the positive to positive, and then we connect the negative. And meantime, I'm leafing through the owner's manual to see if it says anything specific about how to jumpstart a Prius. And we figured it out, and one of these nice young men had the courage to, even though there was a little bit of a spark there, to connect the cable, the last one that completed the circuit. And as soon as he did that, instantly my car came to life. And it looked like, hey, everything is perfectly normal. Well, these three young men, we found out that their names were Ryan, Roman, and Nico. I don't know anything else about them, except that they were extremely nice. They wouldn't accept any sort of, like I asked, is there anything I can do for you guys? And no, they really didn't want anything except to be nice and helpful, and then they went off on their way. So it may not have been anything earth-shaking. It's not like they saved our lives or saved me from a mugger or anything along those lines. But what a wonderful experience to meet three young men. I don't know what kind of students they were. I would have been very proud to have had them in my class when I was teaching, whether they were, like A students in calculus or barely trying to pass basic algebra. In any case, they were just really nice young men. It was so nice to have found them and experienced that at this time of the year when we all have hopes for the future. So I would say that if there are more young folks like them around, and I'm sure there are plenty, there is reason to be hopeful for the next generation. So, from Bootsy, who's trying to sit up, from Bella, who jumped off my lap so you can't see her, she's on the floor, and from Apple, who is going to be a mother, starting to feel a little bit of fullness there, but nothing really big yet. We'll keep you posted. We all want to wish you a joyous time of the year, whatever you celebrate, Easter, Passover, Holy, just the fact that spring is here and flowers are blooming. whatever celebration you might have, just be aware that there are nice people to be found in lots of places. So, you are a silly girl.